Morning grade 9s. I'm going to do question 1 of control test number 2 that you wrote on the 11th of May. Okay, so just some exam technique. When you get your paper and it is an accounting question, do write your T accounts at the top. Assets, owners, equity, liabilities, with the pluses and minuses on the right side. Remember that the left hand side will always be the debit side, the right hand side will always be the credit side. Okay, so that's your rule that you write down. The same with your Daxel rule. Okay, so your Daxel rule states DAX will be debited or have a debit opening balance, and CIL will have a credit opening balance. Okay, you will see how we will use it a bit later. Okay, so the first one, drawings, is a owner's equity account. Okay, because we're taking money out of the business and it actually makes the money of the business less if we withdraw money from the business. Number 2, inventory is a current asset. Why is it a current asset? Because we are turning it over into money within every couple of days or every couple of weeks, and that's less than 12 months. So that is why it will be a current asset. If an asset is debited, it shows that the asset increases. You will see on the debit side the plus, it increases if an asset is debited. Wages then is owner's equity account, and it's an expense. Okay, so it's an expense, but they didn't ask you specifically if it was an expense, they just asked you if it was owner's equity, and is normally debited. Why is it debited? Because it makes the money of the business less when you pay the wages. Remember, you're thinking accounting from the point of view of a business owner. The check counterfoil is a source document in the CPJ. When you write out a check, so it won't be any of the others. The other 2 or 3 will be in the CRJ. Okay, number 6, liabilities normally has a what opening balance? If you look, Daxel tells you L liabilities has a credit opening balance. The other thing, or the other way that you can look at it, is also to say assets and liabilities, wherever the plus is, there the opening balance will be. So that's another way to see that is on the credit side. Alright, so I'm going to write credit there. Number 7, trading stock is a asset. Okay, so we already identified it earlier by saying it's a current asset, so it's an asset, and normally assets will be debited. Alright, so because the opening balance is also on the debit side, that is because assets normally has a debit opening balance, they normally also will be debited. Most transactions will be debited. Okay, then number 8, stationery expense will increase or decrease the owner's equity. Now, if you're paying out an expense, it will obviously decrease the owner's equity of the business. Number 9, in a cash receipts journal, the bank normally gets debited or credited. Now, think about it. You're receiving money, so your bank normally gets debited. Okay, because the bank account becomes more. Alright, so bank normally gets debited, and bank has all the debits, and then all the other accounts must be credited. Okay, then number 10, interest on fixed deposit will be an... Okay, now you have to figure out what is fixed deposit. It's an asset, and on assets we earn interest or income. So if we're earning money, it will be an income, interest on fixed deposit, because fixed deposit is an asset. Right, that was number 10. 11, debtors is classified as a asset, but now what kind of asset? It's a current asset because it's a short-term asset. You want your debtors to pay you very often, otherwise you will go out of business if they don't pay you within a certain period of time. Then both owner's equity and what will increase on the credit side and decrease on the debit side. Let's go and have a look. Okay, both assets, owner's equity and liabilities increase on the credit side and decrease on the debit side. So it's liabilities that will be your answer for number 12. Number 13, when I sell my equipment T account will be credited. Now, what kind of account is equipment? It's an asset. So if I look here, if I sell my equipment becomes less. So that's why it will be credited. Okay, then number 14, capital expenses, income and drawings are all forms of what? They're all forms of owner's equity. Number 15, check counterfoil, cash register roll, duplicate receipt is the source document used to record the daily cash sales in the CRJ. And obviously also that will be the cash register roll. That's the slip that you get when you go to Pick n Pay and you buy a lot of goods. That slip that comes out of the till, that's a cash register roll or cash register tape, another name for it, to record daily sales. Second last one, a vehicle is classified as, okay, it's an asset, but what kind of asset? It's a long-term asset, so therefore it will be a non-current asset. And then lastly, insurance is classified as owner's equity, and to be more specific, it will be an expense. Think from a business point of view, you are paying expenses. Alright, so that was question 1.